Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Blueprint for Life, brought to you by the Black Cultural Restoration Association. It indeed is an honor and a joy to be back online. Took some time off, but the work must never stop, must never end, and we work until we drop. That's how it's supposed to be. I'm V the Preacher. This is Blueprint for Life, and Black Cultural Restoration Association, restoring the identity of the original Jew, Hebrew man, one asleep mind at a time. I can remember when we first started saying that credo that we were a little apprehensive, but now we're taking it back by force, and it's a necessity in this hour with what's happening in this climate all around us, and the people that are intensifying their contempt for the indigenous people who are owed the promises of the Most High, whom salvation is for. And we're going to make that known, make that clear. That's what this is all about. I got a great lesson for you today. It's never a show. It's a lesson. It's a fellowship. It's a dissecting and getting into the scriptures and the precepts and bringing forth some understanding. So I'm not going to belabor the time. I want to get right into it. I don't think there's any announcements or anything I need to talk about, but in particular, I do want to let you know about our herbal holistic health company, where you can find on Instagram right now. The website is in the process, which is herbalsoul.com. It's not spelled with an H, it's spelled with a U. herbalsoul.com. And if you go herbal, URBAL_soul on Instagram, you'll find some of the products, because we're also about, when we restore our culture, we need to restore our health, our spirituality, our just who we are all together, what we eat. So we need to take back how we take care of our bodies, our minds, our souls, and spirits, because this medical system is not for you. And some of these things are designed to hurt you. And you need to become aware of those things and then start to put things in your body that are akin to your heritage and where you come from. Dr. Sebi knew this well, which is why he was such a threat. He knew that your particular melanated skin needed certain things to nurture it and fortify it. And so you need to be aware of that. Brothers and sisters, we're in the midst of a crisis of knowledge. What we need to understand and keep in mind is that Christ said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free." So that would lead me, I'd be inclined to believe, that someone's trying to hide the truth from me so that I'll never be free. The title of this lesson is a word that they're pretty much trying to eradicate from the dictionary. And I was pretty surprised when I saw this word. And I'm going to tell you why this word is being ignored in 1 second, but the word is Nescience. It looks like Nascience, but it's pronounced Nascience. And that word, Nascience, let me describe it to you, because it's very indicative of the climate of what we're going through right now. Nascience, the meaning is an absence of knowledge or awareness, complete total ignorance, agnosticism, the state of not knowing, a lack of knowledge and ignorance. The word again is nescience. If that does not describe the general population, public, and true Israel, I don't know what does. It kind of brings to light the scripture that says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." So the knowledge is being suppressed. Secret societies, the powers that be, governments, the fallen angels, which are entities that inhabit your politicians and control them from the top of the pyramid, are the ones responsible for the nescience that's given to the public. And the nescience is being effective due to the fact that we're so distracted. Your whole life is pretty much probably a distraction. You live for the television, your next Happy Meal that's been advertised to you, for clothing, bling, fashion, and fame, for brief pleasure. You're distracted by gossip and social media, which keeps you from acting. So you have my co-title, which is Distraction from Action, because you won't act to free your mind and take your life back. You feel powerless right now because of the nescience that is in the atmosphere. That's all there is. The esoteric is being hidden from the public, and it's intentional. It's on the back of your dollar bill that those at the top, which are controlled and are the fallen angels that were prophesied, they didn't go nowhere, brothers and sisters. They're still here antagonizing us and fighting for their existence, knowing that we, the children of Israel, will inherit the earth. And they want to afflict, do harm, and battle the demonic spirits and possess people. Which is why we're such a hedonist society, because now we're hell-bent on serving Satan and opposing the Most High. It's the flavor of the day to be antichrist. People are not worshiping the Most High. They're preferring the occult. I can't believe there's a movie out, and I can't believe anybody's going to see this, about a young little mixed girl who's a cannibal, who eats people, and they're telling you to go see this movie. I'm not going to say I don't know what the world's come to, because I do know it's been turned over into the hands of the wicked, and Satan runs this world, and he always has. But we're now in the time of seals being broken, trumpets being sounded. We're in apocalyptic times, and no one wants to believe it, because the Bible had been tampered with and prophecy had been tampered with, and this whole thing was taught to us in a certain fashion, which was in error. And that's something we're going to have to deal with. When we deal with the occult, we deal with occultists. Oculus is a word that comes from the occult. And when you talk about oculus, that is the eye, and that's the eye at the top of the pyramid, which is supposed to be the all-seeing eye, which has a lot to do with your artificial intelligence, as we are so swept away by technology. Family, do you realize that technology is nothing new? Technology was being utilized back in the time of the building of the pyramids. Are you familiar with the antediluvian world? There's people who don't want to believe in a pre-Adamite world, but you don't understand seasons and times. You don't understand creation. You don't understand what happened in the heavens when there was a battle with Michael and Satan, Lucifer, and a third of the angels were cast down here first into darkness. And angels have the ability to morph into whatever they want to morph into. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not teaching on this today. I want to give you something to think about, since you're in a deep stupor under the nescience that has been established by masonry and secret societies to keep you dumbed down because you enjoy pleasure. These people had a world, a kingdom, Atlantis, other things taking place. Slaves didn't build pyramids. These fallen deities are the ones that built Solomon's temple, and Solomon had the ability to control them. But I digress. The point is that the return of the Nephilim and the Anunnaki, which they're going to call an alien invasion, They've always been here. You're probably next to them in the grocery store, on the freeway. We're living in something that's so unreal. You're so dumbed down, you're not going to want to believe this. But the scripture said men's hearts will fail them for fear. We've got people believing that that shot was not that mark, and not understanding that if you spin the word around, that COVID word, it's divak, and it comes from the word dubbak, which is in the Strong's Hebrew, which means to overtake and possess. So you put inside of you a possession, something that can possess your soul. This was strategic, brothers and sisters, but you ignored the facts because you don't have the facts, and you don't want the facts because ignorance to you is bliss. What they're concealing from you, the occult, the occultists, the oculists. It's funny because they got the goggles to take you into the virtual reality world. One of the companies that runs that is Oculus. They want to take you into an alternate reality to keep you even more dumbed down. And since now that you have something inside you that has possessed you, and you go into the alternate reality, there's an enormous amount of things that can take you over. They're trying to conceal from you the fact that there's a natural law and a spiritual law. And they're trying to get you to defy these laws and think that you just exist and that you're not in a matrix. Knowledge. There are unseen universal spiritual laws, and I'm not getting into New Age stuff. I'm telling you stuff that they talk about, that they keep a secret in their lodges, that we must keep them distracted. We got to keep them talking about Kyrie and Kanye. And by the way, I put a short on YouTube that showed that there's the potential that the three frogs of the book of Revelations, the 11th chapter, could potentially be Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Kanye West, because the whole world is distracted by those three, and they're playing their part for their controllers, because they're all in this together. They worship the same God. These people, I didn't need Kanye and Kyrie to validate the fact that I know I'm an Israelite and validate my truth. And as a matter of fact, I don't want you speaking on it anymore, because you're not giving scripture, which cuts. And you're not living this life and making the sacrifices I'm making. I'm not being distracted from acting. I'm acting and keeping the commandments and keeping the law. And I fight to do so. I lose family members, get disrespected by children, because the more you stand on this, the more you're going to lose. And you're going to tell me that I'm an Israelite and I'm going to applaud you and do shows on you every week when you're living any kind of way, and you say you sold your soul, and you sacrificed your parent, and you signed contracts? Let me say this, and I'm going to stay on point, but I'm just talking for a minute before we get into the scriptures. If you sign a contract, you have signed a covenant with Satan, who runs this world. No one receives riches, acclaim, or fame in this world without having signed a contract and a covenant that he can show before the Most High that you signed it in blood and compromise your morality for the lust of fame and money. Even your CEOs sign contracts. Most of you employees, when you get your new job, you do a bunch of paperwork, and you don't even realize they put a beggar's clause on you, which is insurance policy where they can collect insurance on you. These covenants are important, and I'm going to show you why when we talk about the law. Satan, with his Baphomet, as above, so below, these fallen angels are pissed that they can't go into the heavens any longer. The 7 heavens, the 10, they have no access. Access denied. They're trying to emulate where they came from and create their Mecca and paradise here on earth. And they want you to bow down if you want a piece of what they've created in their Mecca and their kingdom, which pales in comparisons to the Most High Yah. And they know it. I wish you knew how awesome Yah is. And when he said, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, the things that I have prepared for you. Before I explain to you about what law is, because we're going to get into that, and that's why I don't need a bunch of people telling me who I am when I've been doing this for 15 years and Johnny come lately because he has a contract with Satan, says it, we're going crazy and validating them saying it. And then these people who are going around saying that they are Jews, why are you talking to them? They know who you are. They know they've stolen your identity, and now they're saying we want theirs. The reason I say they know who we are is because they know that they come from Germany, Ukraine, Turkey, spoke Slavic. They know they did not go into the curses of Deuteronomy 28. They know that they never were from the 12 patriarchs. The son, the fourth son, Judah, before he died, prophesied what would befall his children. None of that has happened to them. And these people run the world. They are operating under Psalms 83. They have conspired against us to keep us out. These people are in secret societies. That's why they own the corporations of this world and run Hollywood and the information you receive, because they're trying to keep you under Nascience. Because most people believe what they see in a movie. And if you don't believe it, subliminally they're reaching your subconscious. Stop the debates with these people. This is Nascience. You're distracting the people and having everybody talking about the debate, the fight, the argument. We will be validated and receive salvation when Yeshua comes back through the clouds, and they know it. And they're scurrying along with their master, Satan, because they don't have much time. They don't want you to realize that there's a controlled end. Satan's trying to control his narrative, so his fallen angels and his minions, the billionaires, the politicians, the presidents, he's got them believing that they could potentially, possibly fight Yeshua when he comes back and that they could win. Also, follow me, Satan feels he can win by default. If he corrupts all Israelites, there'll be nothing for Christ to come back for. So the trick is to keep you in Nascience and defile you, have you break all the commandments, all the laws, therefore you break the covenant, and he goes into Yah's face and says, you can't have them because you said, and according to what you laid out, you can't violate your word. So I win by default. Satan is playing chess with the Most High because he knows he's messed up. And he does not want us to be the sons of Yah. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Distractions are to hide knowledge so they can work towards their expected end of a Novo Order Seclorum, New World Order. And it's not just Klaus Schwab and his other young leaders. Brothers and sisters, it's the fallen angels that are going to try to get you to believe that they created you and not the Most High, and to worship their Antichrist and their Antichrist system. Jacob's trouble is going to intensify because they know that if we don't bend, they have to wipe us out. But I already know no weapon formed against us can prosper, and that we have not been appointed to wrath. So I take confidence in that. The other big distraction that we have is religion, and I don't ascribe to Christianity any longer because I found out that all religions were created by the dark occult system to deceive you. And Satan was cunning in every religion. there runs a common thread, and you don't even see it. You're deceived to believe that you got the best religion, and you keep trying to convert people to your religion, telling everybody else they're going to hell, but you got it made. And you're in a false religion that comes from paganism, which stems from the occult. Do your studies on Tertullian, Marcion, Constantine. Go back into the early church days of the forefathers, that after Christ passed and the apostles went on in the doctrines and they converted to true Israelites, that the converts began to come in and take over. And once they had killed off all of the originals who saw Christ come from the dead and walk the earth, they instantly twisted Christianity into something else. And everyone involved doesn't realize that they're tapped into the Catholic Church, which is worshiping Satan. I can explain it to you easily. Isaiah the 14th chapter. Satan made it clear. I will be worshipped. I shall be lifted up. I will be just like the Most High. And he's deceived the whole world through religion. Religion is bondage. The definition of religion is to believe and accept and do without question what you're told. You're bound by it. And your belief, what you don't even realize, is irrelevant, because they tell you all you got to do is believe. And then after you believe, you continue to live a lifestyle that is not conducive to change or receiving what the Most High has for you. So the system of religion is a system of bondage. You know, even saying, oh, I'm a Hebrew can be bondage, because most people come in and they don't change and come into this thing. This is why I don't want Kanye and Kyrie saying, oh, I'm an Israelite, because they're not changing. Nick Cannon claimed we Israelites, and so everybody, all these young people that watch Wild Now, said, oh, we Israelites, but they still doing what he doing on Wild Now with the partying. Nick Cannon became a 10-time fornicator after announcing he was an Israelite and dropping babies all over the place. Creating bastards, which is a sin. An infidel is what he is. Kanye doing the same thing. Played with you Christians, got up in your pulpits, then said he was Hebrew, then did a video with Marilyn Manson, but he's an Israelite. And then all of you want to be deceived and talk about this. You're deep into the Nascience and you're being distracted. My job and our job is to teach people how to preach the law. Now let's talk about that real quick. What is the law? Today we keep the Sabbath, and that's a part of the law. The law is an existing condition that's binding. It's present, and you cannot ignore it. It has an effect, and the law does not care about your ego. It's a natural law that God has in place. Let me explain it to you. You can say, I don't care about gravity because I'm going to be R. Kelly. I believe I can fly. And the moment you try to step out, because you're using faith that Christianity told you that's all you need. You're only saved by faith and grace, and then go about your life. You don't have to do anything. Even though Revelations 22:14 says that here are they that do the commandments. And the book of James solidifies everything as it pertains to without works, faith is dead. So we're not going to get into James. This is not a lesson about works. I want you to understand about God's law is a part of the law of the universe, and that if you don't keep it, you're not a part of it. This is how serious it is. So people going around saying, oh, I'm an Israelite. I'm an Israelite. Yeah, but you're not quite anything yet. Let me give you the definition of law one more time. Listen to me. It's a binding custom or practice of a community. If you're going to be an Israelite, you have to become a law-abiding Israelite, or else you're not a part of the community. You become enslaved if you break the law. You are punished and penalized if you break the law. It's a rule of conduct or action prescribed or formally recognized as a binding or enforced by a controlling authority. That would be Yah. So listen, it's a custom. Keeping the laws. That's dietary law. That's the holy days and not keeping Thanksgiving and Christmas because you want to hold on to tradition and eat with a bunch of sinners. I don't care if they are your parents. It's a rule of conduct and it's an action. You are being distracted from acting on the laws. Brothers and sisters, the Nascience has you in idolatry. You don't even realize that the gossip, the TMZs and the social media and everybody talking about what's going on, that's breaking one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. You don't know if that's fact what you're saying and passing on and calling people and talking about. It bearing false witness. When he said your conversation should be that of the scriptures and holy and meditating on those things. The second definition for law is the whole body of such customs, practices, or rules. The control brought about by the existence of or enforcement of such law. You don't understand that you're not a part of this community that taps into the spiritual laws until you start keeping the law. Like the Sabbath, it's a sign between us and the Most High. What else am I saying? You think that the other dimensions are far